Welcome to Weekend Mindful Yoga. I am Jessie Mahoney, and I think I know most of you who are joining me on Zoom, at least this morning. And just a reminder, in your own box, do what works for you and what's comfortable. It's hard for me to see you, so I can't give you corrections or advice. So please just listen to your body and do what serves you and what feels good. And I, in addition to doing yoga, also do mindful coaching, and I co-host this Mindful Healers podcast. And I mentioned last week about listening to the episode on unbecoming. And if any of you haven't, I still am going to encourage you to listen, because I've gotten multiple emails in the last few days about how meaningful it was, which is beautiful for me, but it tells me that it's resonating with many of you. And this is from people who either coach with me or come to yoga. So since you are all in that category, I think you will find it meaningful and powerful as well. And tomorrow's episode is on buoyancy. And as many of you know, I taught a yoga class on buoyancy, and it was all based on a blog post. And that's what tomorrow's podcast is about. So I encourage you all to take a listen to that. And then the last thing that I wanted to say as we start is I know many of you know that I am on a quest to get myself into yoga journal. And my dad called me yesterday and said, "What is this whole yoga journal thing? And I don't understand it." And so in case any of you don't understand it, I thought I would just share. Essentially, it's an opportunity to have a few pages devoted to what you do and why you do it. And so you got to apply, and I applied with this idea of bringing yoga to people who work in healthcare, knowing that if we take care of ourselves and nourish ourselves, that we can be more whole, which is in and of itself an amazing thing, but also that we can be more present for our patients, and that if we experience it and understand it, we can share it and educate patients, not just about yoga, but about mindfulness and mindset and all of this important work. And so that was the pitch that I gave to them about what I wanted to share. What I didn't know when I signed up is that it is a voting thing. And so everyone puts in their different pitches. And so and that's not really my thing, but I also decided I think it's a really worthwhile mission and cause. And wouldn't it be cool if we got that message out and more healthcare organizations supported it, and we were able, or I was able, to create something that could spread this message and this work, and perhaps the Mindful Healthcare Collective and things like that. So that's why I'm doing it. And I would love it if you all continue to support me. Anyway, I'm having fun with it. I seem to bounce around between second place and fourth place, depending on the time of day. And it doesn't, and again, part of it is just the fun and mission of trying to spread the message and see what happens. So that's the story, in case you're wondering. With that, I want to get to today's yoga and get us all feeling better. So find a comfy spot on your mat. And I'm also going to give you the caveat that I let my dog stay today because she really wants to, and I'm hoping that she doesn't actually decide to join us on screen, but she might. So if she does, hopefully y'all are okay with dogs. So find a comfortable seat, ground your sit bones into your block or the earth beneath you, and close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Connect deeply with the earth below. Tilt your pelvis gently forward, grow your spine long and tall towards the sky, and drop your shoulders with intention. And focus on the breath. Take a long, deep inhale and a big exhale. Another inhale, long, deep, slow, and nourishing. And a matching long exhale. Today, I wanted to get back to the basics, of what I call pause and be present. When you pause, you can begin to notice and be aware and see what's happening within. So I encourage you to use this hour as a pause, and perhaps to look within with kindness, love, tenderness, and see what it is that you need or crave What's missing? What's that sort of longing itch within? And can you notice what it is? Breathe in long and deep, nourishment, kindness, and tenderness to just poke around and see what might be there. And exhale, create space. Deep inhale once again. And a huge exhale. And draw your attention into that chest space and poke around. See what you see. What is it perhaps that your body needs or is craving? Is it kindness? Is it love? Is it connection? Is it touch? Is it quiet, stillness, space? Could be anything. But most often in our days, we just keep moving and don't take the time to notice. And when you don't notice, you can't attend to it. So my offer here this morning is to notice and then attend to it. As you move through class today, send that breath and love and compassion and energy into that pocket of whatever it is you discover you need or are craving. Can you create space enough and curiosity just to poke around? And knowing that honoring that need is not selfish, it's healing. And when you honor it, you can be much more calm and grounded in giving. When we don't see and notice and attend to what we need, it's incredibly hard to do that for others. So this morning, do that for you here on the mat with kindness. We're not fixing anything. We're just attending to our desires, wants, cravings, needs, little empty, hollow spots that need nourishing. For me, it's kindness. Kindness to myself, nourishing parts of me that maybe need a little more nourishment, a little more space. What is it for you? Bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand atop and press gently. Just notice how that feels. Deep inhale into the chest space and a long exhale. Another deep, long inhale and an exhale. Notice how you feel. If you want to stay here, notice if you crave to stay here. If you wish, bring your hands to heart center and touch your finger pads together, palms together. Notice all the sensations of touch. Thumb edges press into the sternum with intention, elbows out wide. Take in a long, deep inhale once again, and a big exhale. And connect with your intention, your wish, or your aspiration. What is it that you wish to do for yourself here in this next hour? How can you meet some of those needs, whatever you're craving? So you can feel a little bit more whole and healed as you head back out into the world. Take a long, deep final inhale here. And a huge exhale. Lower your hands to your thighs and slowly open your eyes and let the light back in. And take a moment and notice how you feel. Perhaps good, really good. Notice the tingling in your fingers and your toes, and perhaps a spaciousness in your chest, and a curiosity in your mind. And take out whatever is underneath you And we're going to come today directly into hands and knees. And I'm going to mix it up a little today as we move through class. And so once again, it's a chance to notice what works for you and what feels good. And if you find that you want to go into child's pose and hang out there, do that. You find you want to do a harder pose longer, just notice it. Really notice and attend to what you need and what feels good. In hands and knees, palms ground into the earth, both palms, all 5 fingers on each hand spread wide, equal pie shapes. Both palms ground into the earth, arms strong and engaged. Back is flat, as if you could balance a tray. Tops of the feet ground into the earth and the knees ground into the earth. Engage your belly here. On the inhale, arch your back, round. The crown of the head reaches towards the sky, sit bones reach towards the sky. Notice the stretch in the front of the abdomen. Exhale, round into cat, suck your navel up, allow your head and neck to drop. Notice all the sensations and all the muscle fibers in the back body. Inhale, come into cow, crown of the head, sit bones, reach skyward, belly presses down. Exhale, round and suck your navel up. Notice all the sensations here and enjoy it.
Mom.
One sec.
Red or gold ribbon, big bow,
Hold on one sec.
but you want it big?
I mute. Sorry about that. Keep doing cat cow till I get it fixed. All right. We'll meet back in neutral, tabletop. Engage everything once again. Ground your hands into the earth. Stretch that right leg long behind you. Ankle is flexed, toes connect to the earth. Drop your right heel, twist open towards the right side. Reach your right arm up, come into gate pose. Ground the outer edge of the right foot into the earth. And on the exhale, lower your right arm over your right ear. Extend long from the outer edge of your foot all the way through the front of the mat. Huge inhale into the right waist. And let it go. Notice here if any pockets open up and you notice a longing or a craving. What might it be? Is it for more laughter, more fun, more quiet, more space? One more deep inhale into that pocket in the right waist. And exhale, come back to hands and knees. Pause here. Take a moment to ground yourself. What if we took moments to ground ourselves in between what we do in everyday life? Maybe that will help meet some need. Extend your left leg long. Ankle flexed. Drop your left heel towards the earth. Twist towards the left. Reach your right arm up towards the sky. Come into gate pose on this side. Exhale, reach your left arm long over the left ear, ground from the outer edge of the left foot all the way through the left fingertips. And enjoy the stretch and all the nooks and crannies on the left side. And let it go. Use the breath to nourish and as a form of curiosity. All those pockets of oxygen traveling into all the tiny nooks and crannies and crevices. See what they find. Last big breath here. And come back to hands and knees. Extend that right leg long once again and pause here. Hips square towards the earth. On the inhale, raise your right heel about 6 inches. Hips are parallel, even flat towards the floor. Raise your left arm long. Right heel and left fingertips reach long in either direction. Focus your energy on your core, on your belly button. Deep inhale here. Exhale, bring your elbow and your knee together underneath you. Inhale, stretch long, heel stretches long, fingertips stretch long. Exhale, bring your elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch long. If you wish, you can just stay balanced. Last one, elbow to knee, curl the back. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, come back to hands and knees. Once again, ground yourself. Find your strength and stability before moving on to the next thing. Reach the left leg long behind you. Inhale, raise it hip height about 6 inches or a little below. Raise your right arm long in the opposite direction. Find your balance and your center. Deep inhale into your navel. And exhale, draw the navel up towards the back of the spine. Inhale. Exhale, draw your elbow to your knee underneath you, curl your spine up. Inhale, reach long, press your heel towards the back wall. Exhale, curl under. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, curl under, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach long. And exhale, come back to hands and knees. Bring your knees apart, toes together, sink your hips back, come into child's pose. Walk those fingertips long in front of you. Lower your forehead towards the floor. Third eye grounds into the earth and hips sink back down and low. Notice all the sensations in the hips and the shoulders. Walk your fingertips as far along in front of you as you can. Forearms are on the earth, upper arms likely not. If you need a pillow under your head to ground into the earth below, tuck that under there, or a blanket, whatever works for you. A blanket for many of you might be nice if you have knees that are sensitive or other body parts that don't like the floor. Deep breaths into the back outer pockets of the rib cage. Fill it up. And notice and be curious what you discovered here, but a kind curiosity. Is there anything there that needs nourishment? Any cravings, unmet needs? And can you think about how you might be able to give yourself the gift of some of those things? Is it time, space, connection, touch, kindness, compassion? Slowly press back up to hands and knees. Even yourself out. We're going to bring the right foot forward. Come in directly into Anjaneyasana or a low lunge from here. So you're going to wiggle your right toes forward and wiggle your back knee back a little bit so that when you rise up, your right knee does not extend beyond your right ankle. Inhale, raise both arms up towards the sky. Come into Anjaneyasana or low lunge. Exhale, sink a little bit lower into the hips. Inhale, reach tall. Stretch your whole torso. Exhale, sink a little lower. Notice the energy in the front of the left hip and just send the breath there. And let the tension go. Another deep inhale into the front of the left hip. Exhale, bring both hands to heart center. Tip your torso forward halfway. Hook that left elbow onto the right knee. Come into a twist. You may notice your left knee wants to move back a smidge to stretch the front of that left thigh and left hip. Just notice what feels good. If this doesn't feel good, you can stay up in Anjaneyasana, whatever is comfortable for you. One more breath here. Come back to center. Lower your hands to the inside of the right foot. Wiggle the right foot to the outer edge of your mat. Roll your knee open so you're on the outer edge of your right foot, and you're going to come into lizard pose from here. I prefer to stay up on my fists. Some people like to come down to their elbows, whatever works for you. There's a huge sort of groin stretch here. So choose what works for you. You can play with it, notice. 2 deep breaths, sending the breath to all those pockets of tension. Sending love, kindness, spaciousness, compassion, whatever else, just throw it all in there. Perhaps see what sticks, see what's needed if you're not sure. One more deep breath here. Take your right hand, put it on the outside of your right foot. Roll your right foot back to flat, wiggle it back to center. Come back to a low lunge with hands on the ground. Shift your hips back. Right leg is straight, right toes reach up towards your nose. There'll be a nice half splits. Stretch in the back of the right leg. You're hinged forward at the hips. Crown of the head reaches forward towards the front of the mat. Flex the toes towards your nose. Enjoy all the sensations in the back of the right leg. There are likely a lot. You can point your toe and flex your toe. Point your toe and flex your toe. Huge breaths into the back of the right leg here. One more breath. Notice if your body wants to get out of this position or stay. Walk your hands forward, shift your weight forward. Take your right foot, bring it back around, come back to hands and knees. Even yourself out. Take a moment to ground and get organized before moving on. Not rushing from one thing to the next, moving with intention. Bring your right foot forward between your hands. Come into come into Anjaneyasana on this side. So your left toes wiggle towards the front of the mat. Make sure your left knee does not extend beyond your left ankle. And your right knee may want to scooch back a little bit. Inhale, rise both arms and your torso up towards the sky. Anjaneyasana or low lunge. Send the breath into that pocket in the front of the right hip. Exhale, let things go. Notice if any adjustments are needed here. Inhale deeply. If this is sensitive on your right knee, you can fold your mat, double fold it under the knee. That can also be really helpful if you don't have a blanket. Inhale deeply. Exhale. On the inhale, lengthen towards the sky. Reach all the side body towards the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Hinge forward at the hips. Twist towards the left. Right elbow hooks over the left knee. Low lunge twist. Your right knee may want to scooch back a centimeter or so. Notice what is comfortable. What feels good? What does your body crave here? How can you adjust and accommodate? Treat it as well as possible. We spend so much time doing what we think we should, and yet listening to your body and your mind and your heart may lead you on a different path. Can you trust yourself to do that? Come back to heart center. Lower your hands back to the mat on the inside of the left foot. Walk that left foot to the outer edge of the mat, outer left edge. Roll your foot open onto the outer left edge of the foot, and the knee extends outward. Come into lizard pose on this side. This is an intense groin stretch, which I know at least one of you struggles with, and that's okay. Just know that this is one your body may love or may not love. Which is it? Deep breath into all those pockets in the groin. One more breath. Bring your left hand to the outside of the left foot. Roll back flat onto the foot. Inch those toes back to the center. Legs come back to low lunge position. Shift your hips back, straight the left leg. Left ankle is flexed, left toes flexed towards your nose. Half splits on this side. Take a moment and organize your hips here. Right hip tucks back, left hip tucks forward gently. With intention, pay attention to all 5 toes on the left foot and flex them towards your nose. Point the toes. Flex your toes. Notice all of the sensations in the back of the left leg. There may be emotions trapped in the midst of those sensations. And just with the gentle point and flex, notice what happens. When your toe is flexed, readjust your hips once again. Right hip taps back, left hip forward, left hip back, right hip gently forward. It's just a smidge movement, but notice how it feels and what happens there. Shift your weight back forward to low lunge. Come back to hands and knees. Find your center. Walk your hands forward and handprint. Curl your toes. Shoot your hips up to downward dog. And pause a moment. Coming back to this familiar position. You can walk the dog if you need to. Notice what feels good, what your body craves. Press equally into both hands, all 10 fingers and knuckles, both palms engaged, pressing into the earth. Arms engaged, long and strong. Hips shoot back and up with intention. Lift up onto your tiptoes, heels reach towards the sky. Slowly lower them down towards the earth. Bend the left knee, press the right foot into the earth. Bend the right knee, press the left heel into the earth. Come back to center, lift high, high, high up onto your balls of your feet, heels reach towards the sky. Bend your knees, shins come parallel towards the earth. Press into your hands and press your hips back towards the back wall. You may notice shaking in the legs and the arms, different muscles engaged. Notice if you like this or don't. Send the breath into all the pockets of your chest and let it go. One more deep inhale. Exhale, shoot your hips up, straighten your knees, lower your heels. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Come into a forward fold. Widen your feet, ground them into the earth. Take your hands, grab your elbows, and allow your head and neck to release here. Notice the abundance of sensations in the backs of your legs. You can gently bend your knees, straighten them a little. Notice what happens. Play with it. What feels good? What does your body like? You shift your weight into your toes and into your heels, to the right and to the left. Come back to center. Release your hands, engage your belly, and slowly come up to stand. Vertebrae by vertebrae, head will be the last to rise. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears, scrunch them as high as you can. Draw them back towards the back of the mat. Pinch your scapula together and allow your palms to fall open towards the front of the mat. Tadasana or mountain pose. Deep inhale into the chest space in that pocket behind the heart. And huge exhale. Another deep inhale. And huge exhale. Pause for just a moment and notice how you feel. Notice any tingles as your breath just goes back to its normal rate and rhythm. From here, we're going to come into tree pose. So ground your left foot into the earth. Lift up all 5 toes, lower them down. Take your right heel, Kickstand to your left calf shin area. Take your right hand, grab your right ankle, raise your foot either to the inner thigh or the calf, but not over the knee to protect the joint. Whatever works for you. Even your hips out, bring your hands to heart center. Press your palms together and find stillness here in tree pose. Ground down into the earth through that left leg. Lengthen up through the leg, through the hip girdle, through your spine, through the crown of your head towards the sky. Drop your shoulders. Inhale into that pocket behind the heart. Keep your hands at heart center this time. Strong, still tree pose. Deep inhale into the chest. And exhale. One more breath here. Notice if you're starting to wobble. Slowly bring the right knee towards the front. Lower it towards the earth and just shake it out. Enjoy it. Wiggle your hips. Release your hands. Roll your shoulders back 3 times. 3 huge circles. And roll them forward 3 times. And ground your right foot into the earth. Lift up all 5 toes, lower them down. Kickstand your left heel to the left shin calf area. Left hand grabs the left ankle, bring it to the calf or the inner thigh, whatever works for you, just not over the knee. Bring your hands to heart center. Focus on a spot on the floor that's not moving. Deep inhale into the chest space here. Exhale, let it go. Deep inhale once again. Exhale, ground down into the earth through that right leg. Inhale, draw up the energy and strength through the right leg, through the hip girdle, through your torso. Exhale, let it go. One more breath here. Draw your left knee towards the front. Let it go towards the earth. Release everything. Come towards the front of your mat. We're going to do a couple of sun salutations here. Stand at the front of your mat, ground your feet into the earth. Draw up the energy through your legs into your hip girdle. Tuck your pelvis slightly. Grow long and tall through the spine towards the sky. Inhale, both arms out and up. Palms come together, slight arch back, fold forward, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, forward fold. Ground your hands into the earth, step back for plank, top of the push-up. Pause a moment, engage your belly. Draw your attention to your navel. Shift forward onto your tiptoes. Lower down towards the earth, chaturanga. Bend your elbows, keep them bent in towards your torso. Lower down, forehead touches the earth. Inhale, weight out of the hands, lift up for low cobra. Exhale, lower down. Press back through hands and knees to downward dog and pause. Notice how you feel with the movement. Lift up onto your tiptoes. Step, hop or jump towards the front of the mat. Once again, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, spine straight, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, fold forward. Draw your attention to your navel, engage your belly, and slowly roll up to stand, vertebrae by vertebrae. Shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Draw them back towards the back of the mat. Pinch your shoulders together. Exhale, lower them. Palms open towards the front. Inhale, arms up and out. Palms come together. Bring your hands to heart center. Pause for a moment. One more breath here. Exhale. Lower your arms to your sides, bring them out and up. Palms together, slight arch back, fold forward, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, crown of the head reaches forward, sit bones, shoot back. Exhale, fold forward, ground your palms into the earth, step back to plank and pause. Top of the push-up. Take a moment to ground. Shift your weight forward onto your tiptoes, bend your elbows, lower down chaturanga. You can bend your knees and then tuck your toes if you need. Forehead comes to the earth. Inhale, lift up, low cobra or upward dog, whatever works for you. Press back, curl your toes under, come back to downward dog. And pause. Deep inhale into the chest here. And a huge exhale. One more deep inhale. And a huge exhale. Gently walk your hands back towards your feet. Come into a forward fold once again. Take your hands, clasp them at your sacrum. Shoot your fists back towards the back wall. Straighten your elbows and allow your hands and your fists to fall forward towards the front of the mat. Head and neck release towards the earth. Knees can stay bent. It's a big release in the front of both shoulders. Send the breath and the compassion into all the nooks and crannies of tightness. And let it go. Bend your left knee, straight the right, twist towards the right. Send that breath into the front of the right shoulder and the top of the right arm. Exhale, let it go. One more inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Bend the right knee, straighten the left, twist towards the left. Send the breath to the front of the left shoulder and the upper left arm. One more breath here. Come back to center. Bend the knees generously and allow your hands to fall another smidge towards the front of the mat. Head and neck release completely here towards the floor. Notice all the sensations and send the breath, compassion, kindness, curiosity into every little pocket of tightness. What might your shoulders need? It might not be a clue into what you need. Mind, body, heart, soul, whatever it might be. What do you need? Bring your hands back to your sacrum. Allow them to run down the backs of your thighs towards the earth. Engage your belly and slowly roll up to stand. Head will be the last to rise. Take a moment to land and settle into the earth here. Deep inhale and exhale. We're going to come to face the side edge of your mat. Stand in the middle of the mat so you can see how I'm standing. You're going to open your legs wide, side edges of your feet parallel to the mat, and arms extend wide, shoulder height in either direction. Your ankles should be essentially under your wrists. Take a moment to ground yourself here. Turn your left toes to the left edge of the mat. Right hip shoots towards the back wall. Reach those left fingers long in front of you as far as you can. Exhale, come into Trikonasana or triangle pose. Right arm reaches towards the sky. Both legs are straight. You can turn that right foot slightly angled towards the front of the mat if that feels good for you. If you wish, take your right arm, wrap it into that left hip crease and roll your chest open. Look upward towards the sky if it works for your neck. If it doesn't, keep looking towards the earth and your hand can be in hip crease or not, whatever you prefer. Notice, in fact, what feels right. Do you want to reach towards the sky? Do you want to open your chest more? Inhale into that those nooks and crannies and pockets of stuckness behind the heart. Notice what that hollow spot might need. Reach your right fingertips up towards the sky. Come back so you're in Trikonasana. We're gonna bend the left knee, press off the back foot, shift your weight forward and come into something called half moon. Your left hand is going to touch the earth, right foot will come up into the air in kind of a balanced pose. Since most people don't have props, just do your best, balance, notice what works, and if you topple, no problem. One more breath here in half moon. Slowly shift your weight back up, come back to triangle pose. Inhale, raise your torso up, bend that front knee, come into warrior two for a moment of strength, balance, groundedness. Inhale, lengthen your spine and your torso towards the sky. Exhale, sink into the hips, bend front knee, make sure your knee does not extend beyond your ankle. Warrior two. Strong, powerful, grounded, peaceful. One more inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Bring your hands to your hips. Straight your left leg. Turn your left toes to face the side edge of the mat and the feet are parallel. Right toes may need to be adjusted. Hands are at the hips or the waist. Turn your right toe towards the right edge of the mat. Angle that left toe slightly. Reach your arms out in either direction. Shift your right arm as far forward as you can. Hips shoot back towards the left edge of the mat. Drop down into Trikonasana or triangle pose. Left arm reaches towards the sky. Gaze can be up or down, whatever works for you. And notice where your hand would like to be. Would it like to be on the floor, on the shin, on the thigh? It's different for everyone. If you have a block, use that. If you wish, bring your left hand into the right hip crease. Roll your chest open, look up towards the sky. Notice if that feels good for you. Deep inhale into those tiny pockets of the chest that get opened up in this position. Send the curiosity there with the breath. What might you discover? What might you crave or need or want? And how can you make that happen in some small way? Not what you need others to do, but what can you do for yourself? Reach your left arm up towards the sky. Release your right hand from the floor or your ankle if it's on there. Bend the right knee. Press off the back foot. Shift your weight forward into half moon. So the right hand inches forward a foot or two, reaches the earth. Left leg reaches up towards the sky. Notice if that works for you. One more breath here. Slowly lower your left foot back to the earth, sorry. Right hand comes back to the right ankle or floor in Trikonasana. Inhale, rise up. Bend your right knee, come into warrior two and pause. Allow everything to settle. The blood flow to sort of sort itself out here. Inhale, lengthen your spine and your torso towards the sky. Exhale, sink into your hips, bend the right knee slightly. Let things go. Inhale, sending nourishment, and exhale, reorganize. One more breath here. Bring your hands to your hips. Straight the right leg. Turn your toes to face the side edge of the mat. Square your hips and heel toe your feet together. Coming to stand. Roll your shoulders back 3 times. and come to have a seat on the mat. If you have a block or a bolster, grab that. And if not, no worries. We're going to come into double pigeon, which is a big release and also very much a nourishing pose for most people. So you'll cross your legs loosely. Right shin is in front of the left. Some of you will wish to put your right ankle atop the left knee. It's whichever position works for you. You'll notice a stretch in the right hip. If you have a block or a pillow, place it in front of you. You can do this either way. Ground your sit bones into the earth. Rock side to side on them. Hinge at the waist. Walk your hands forward in front of you. And allow your head and neck to release. If you want to place your forehead on a block, that is the most luxurious way to do it. Or books or a pillow. If you don't have that and or your hips are tight, you just rest your hands on the earth. You can even bend your elbows and your head can look forward or release completely. Whatever works for you. So there's a lot of variations here. Every body is different. You should notice a nice release in the right outer hip and no pain in the knees. If you have pain in your knees, I would skip this and go lie on your back and do figure 4 stretch if you know that one. And if you don't know that one, you can just sit as we begin cross-legged and breathe. It's always an option in yoga, as is child's pose. 3 more long, deep breaths here. Connect with what's happening in that right hip. Send the breath into all the nooks and crannies there. Compassion, nourishment. I like to envision all the oxygen cells going in and healing, picking up the garbage and moving it away. Creating space, lightness. And breathe here. Don't forget to breathe. The little oxygen cells can't get there without deep, nourishing breaths. One more deep breath. Exhale, let things go. Slowly walk your fingers, hands back towards your shins. Rise upward in your torso. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Allow the blood flow to just reintegrate for a second. Move slowly. Extend both legs long in front of you. Rock side to side on your hips. Flex your toes towards your nose. Inhale, both arms up towards the sky. Knees can be bent or straight, and a gentle forward fold. Head and neck release towards the floor. Breathe into the backs of the legs and all the pockets in the back of the spine, upper chest. If you wish, envision those little oxygen particles floating around, finding things to nourish, to heal, finding pockets that need attention. What do they need? Slowly walk your hands up your shins, to your knees, to your thighs. Recross your legs, left leg in front of the right or left ankle atop the right knee, whatever works for you. When you get there, rock side to side, ground your sit bones with intention into the earth. Take your hands, bring them in front of you. Hinge at your hips and walk your hands forward. So the back starts straight and you'll notice a stretch in the outer left hip. If you have a block, lower your forehead to it. If you don't, you can bend your elbows, bring your elbows in a little closer to you, and that can be comfortable. Some of you will have such tight hips that you just stay upright, and that is enough of a release. So pay attention to what works. Beautiful stretch and release in the outer left hip. No knee pain. and your head and neck and arms wherever they feel most nourishing to you. And it may change as you breathe and hold it. Purposeful inhales sent to the outer left hip here. If you're doing this pose, if you're in figure 4, same thing, send it to the outer left hip. And if you're just sitting cross-legged, breathing, send the breath wherever it needs to go. Notice pockets that might need attention. What do they need? We're often always looking for other people to meet our needs, but can we notice what our needs are and try to meet them ourselves? Attend to them. Provide ourselves kindness, provide ourselves love, provide stillness and space. Allow ourselves to release, let go. One more deep, purposeful inhale into that left outer hip. Notice if you want to stay or you want to go here. Walk your hands back up towards your shins, hinge up. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky, torso rises. Bring your hands to your knees gently and just allow yourself to settle. Extend your legs long. Bring your arms up parallel to the legs. Ground your sit bones into the earth here. And engage your belly and slowly roll down inch by inch, vertebrae by vertebrae, till you land on the mat. Bend your knees. Walk your feet towards your hips. Raise both feet off the ground. Come into reverse tabletop. Your arms reach up towards the sky, shins parallel towards the floor. Fingers reach towards the sky. Reverse tabletop, belly is engaged. Just notice. Exhale, extend your left leg long, right arm long. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, right leg long, left arm long. Inhale, come back to center. One more. Exhale, left leg long, right arm long. Inhale, both arms reach towards the sky, shins parallel. Exhale, right leg extends, left arm extends. Inhale, come back to center. Notice how organized you feel here. Slowly lower your feet towards the earth, bend your knees. Use your core here to do that. Allow your arms to fall above your head in an easy cactus shape. Knees are bent, soles of the feet on the floor. Bring your knees together, feet apart. Allow your knees to drop to the right gently into an easy twist. Arms are in an easy cactus above you. Knees drop towards the right. You should feel a lovely stretch in the front of the left hip and the left waist extending up towards your left armpit. If you wish, turn your gaze towards the left. Huge inhales and exhales. Long, easy, smooth, purposeful. Last breath here. Bring your gaze back to center. Bring your knees back to center. Reorganize. Knees together, feet apart. Outer edges of the feet align with the outer edges of the mat. Organize your shoulders and your hips so they're equal, square, grounded. Exhale, drop your knees towards the left side. Nice stretch in the right hip, right waist area, extending at the right side body into the right armpit. Inhale. If you wish, on the exhale, turn your gaze towards the right. Enjoy the long, sweet, deep breaths here. Lengthen the inhale. And lengthen the exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. Bring your gaze back to center. Bring your knees back to center. Reorganize shoulders, hips. Lengthen your legs out long towards the bottom edge of the mat. Straight your arms above. Take a deep inhale. Clasp your hands together. Stretch as long and tall as you can. Fill everything up with air. And a huge exhale. Bring your hands back to your sides. Allow them to rest on the earth about 6 inches from your waist, palms open towards the sides, towards the sky. Toes release and just let go towards the outer edges of the mat. Allow everything here to let go. Ground into the earth beneath. Notice perhaps its energy coming up through the parts of you that are connected to the earth. Draw on its energy. Send it anywhere that needs energy. And then relax. Thoughts may float in and they may float out. Nothing to do here, but just be. A few moments for your body to just do whatever it wishes, however it wishes. A deep stillness and quiet. Gently and slowly start to deepen your breath. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. With intention, raise your arms above you and stretch your toes long. Inhale deeply, fill yourself up, and exhale. Slowly and with love and kindness, draw your knees into your chest and roll over to one side and pause for just a moment. Notice how you feel. Enjoy and allow that Shavasana feeling, I like to call it, to course through you and fill every little nook and cranny. Thank yourself for showing up today for yourself. And move with love and kindness. Press into your hands and slowly come up to a comfortable seat. Back on a block, a pillow, a blanket, something that feels comfortable, luxurious, and nourishing. And when you arrive, ground your sit bones into the earth, rest your hands lightly, and close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Come back to that Shavasana feeling, but seated. Ground your sit bones into the earth and rise upward. Crown of the head reaches, stretches towards the sky. Exhale, drop your shoulders. Notice once again that Shavasana feeling, I like to call it, filling you up. Capture it with purpose and intention. Bring your hands to heart center. Press your palms together. Finger pads touch, thumbs touch. Press the outer edges of the thumbs into the sternum. Connect with your heart space underneath. Send yourself another moment of kindness, compassion. Whatever you may have noticed or discovered that you need or crave or want, allow that. And I invite you to acknowledge it and spend a little bit of time this weekend attending to it. How can you attend to it? What can you do to address that craving, fill those needs, take care of yourself, nourish yourself? Because why not? Take a final deep inhale in through your nose and a huge exhale. Thank you all so much for joining me for practice today. May you have a beautiful week, noticing, addressing, acknowledging, and nourishing yourselves. Namaste.
Thank you so much.
You're
Have a great
welcome.
rest of your weekend.
You too.